Hello and welcome back. My name is Jack B. And as always, thank you for taking time to view my video. Over the last few months, several news items caught my attention. In February 2025, Trump announced the creation of an anti-Christian bias task force and a White House Faith Office, WHFO, saying it would make recommendations to him regarding changes to policies, programs, and practices, and consult with outside experts in combating anti-Semitic, anti-Christian, and additional forms of anti-religious bias. A faith-based program is not unusual in an administration as long as the leadership and members represent a cross-section of religions in America. The Faith Office is headed by Paula White, the tongue-speaking multi-millionaire televangelist. Trump appointed Jennifer Korn as Deputy Assistant to the President and Faith Director of WHFO. Korn was previously Senior Advisor of the National Faith Advisory Board, the Christian group founded by Paula White. There are several presidential-appointed people, as well as some elected government officials, that support Christian nationalism. Christian nationalism is the same as a theocracy. Some of the core beliefs and principles of Christian nationalism are, number one, the United States was founded as a Christian nation, and its laws should reflect Christian values. Number two, the government should work to maintain or restore a Christian identity in society. Number three, being a Christian is essential to being a real American. Number four, there is a desire for authoritarian social control and traditionalist social hierarchies. Number five, reinterpreting religious freedom as a right for Christians to have their religion privileged, rather than as a right for all to practice their faith freely or not at all. Last year, the Idaho Capital Sun reported that Hegseth has close ties to an Idaho-based Christian nationalist church. In addition, many of the people involved in Project 2025 actively support Christian nationalism. The Charles F. Kettering Foundation, a nonpartisan research foundation which seeks to preserve democracy, described Project 2025 as the blueprint for Christian nationalist regime change. Hegseth and his family moved from his home in New Jersey to a home in Middle Tennessee in 2022. They wanted to be active members in the Pilgrim Hill Reform Fellowship, which is part of the Communion of Reformed Evangelical Churches, CREC, a network founded by Doug Wilson. Currently, Hegseth and his family live in military housing at Fort McNair in Washington, D.C. In mid-July 2025, Pastor Doug Wilson of Christ Church in Moscow, Idaho, opened an outpost of his church in Washington, D.C. Pete Hegseth, a prominent supporter of Wilson's movement, attended the inaugural service. I started my research by going to the website https://christkirk.com of Pastor Doug Wilson's Christ Church located at 403 S. Jackson Street, Moscow, Idaho. The church is defined as a Calvinist church and a member of the Communion of Reformed Evangelical Churches, CREC. I found some interesting videos and interviews online. One about wives being subservient to their husband. The congregation has received international coverage for its views, which include advocating for a theocracy and its desire to make Moscow a Christian town. I think it might be interesting to take a brief look at Calvinism. John Calvin established Calvinism in 1536, lived in Geneva. Compared to worldwide religions, it is relatively new, less than 500 years old. It was established after Columbus sailed the blue in 1492. I could also say that the discovery of America is older than Calvinism. Some core tenets of Calvinism are, number one, due to Adam's fall, all humanity is born in a state of sin, and they are unable to choose or seek God on their own. Number two, God, out of his own will, chooses certain individuals for salvation, and this choice is not based on any merit, actions, or foreseen faith by the person. Number three, Christ's death on the cross was intended to atone for the sins of the select, those God chose, making salvation definite for them. Number four, when God calls his chosen to salvation, they are unable to resist his grace. The Holy Spirit works within them to bring them to God. Basically, they believe in predestiny. Free will has no place in deciding to be good or bad for the choice of going to heaven. Their belief is that only those chosen by God can get into heaven no matter what they do. There is no self-salvation. If you are a sinful felon and God has pre-chosen you, then you will go to heaven. There is nothing you can do not to go. Whereas a pious person living a moral religious life who is not chosen by God will not get into heaven. I find the concept of a theocracy in America to be contradictory to its founding, but not contradictory in actions. My education has taught me that one of the reasons people came to America in the early days was to escape religious persecution. America was a place of religious tolerance. I also find it interesting that many religions that fled to America to escape religious persecution in their home countries turned around when they arrived in America and did the very same thing with respect to persecuting others. They were hypocritical in their faith. The Pilgrims were English separatists who traveled to North America on the Mayflower in 1620, seeking religious freedom from persecution in England. The Puritans were a group of English Protestants in the 16th and 17th centuries who sought to purify the Church of England of its Catholic elements. Puritans believed it did not go far enough to purge the Church of Catholic influence. Facing persecution in England, many Puritans migrated to North America, particularly to New England, to establish a new society based on their religious principles. These same Puritans expelled Quakers, Presbyterians, and Baptists from New England. The early Protestants also persecuted Catholics, Mormons, Jews, Muslims, and Native Americans. Time and time again throughout history, and even today, we have seen examples of radical religious-based groups and theocracies around the world causing pain and suffering. Governments ruled by religious leaders who interpret a deity's will to govern never turns out well for the people. There is a host of subtext in this episode to contemplate, so ponder. Well, these are my thoughts for today. And again, whether you agree or disagree, please verify the information presented. Thank you, and until next time, take care and be safe.
Ooh.